Hi, hello everyone. Today, welcome to my channel Learn with Aisha. The last previous class we have covered with the introduction to endocrine system, adrenal gland, and the thyroid gland. So today we are going to cover with the pancreas gland and the pituitary gland. So let us go. Let us start our class with pancreas gland. As you can see, the in the center of the slide, the structure of the pancreas gland. Pancreas is a heterocline gland because it is both duct gland as well as ductless gland. This little lies along the posterior margin of stomach in the loop of the duodenum. It has a lightly pink color leaf-like gland. It produces the exocrine part, some of the pancreatic juice, which is carried out by the pancreatic duct to the duodenum. This pancreatic juice contains some of the enzymes which are important for the digestion of the food. This endocrine part contains small group of specialized cells called as the isolates of Langerhans, such as alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells. Each cells produce some particular hormones. The alpha cell produce glucagon hormones, beta cells produce insulin hormone, and delta cells produce somatostatin. So first, that is the insulin hormone. As we all know, insulin hormone is very important for for the normal functioning of the blood sugar level in our body. So due to it, if it has any indeficient production of a hormone called insulin, it leads to some of these diseases such as diabetes mellitus and hypoglycemia. So this hyposecretion of insulin, that is the insufficient secretion of insulin, cause disease diabetes mellitus, and this disease is characterized by these symptoms such as high level of glucose in the blood, and the glucose is excreted in urine more amount of, and secretion of large amount of urine, and the person feel very thirsty due to excessive loss of water, and then continuous loss of weight of late, and gradually increase of the weakness in a person leads to diabetes mellitus. So hypersecretion is the oversecretion of the insulin. So this diabetes mellitus, so before we start this hyposecretion, this treatment of diabetes mellitus include the administration of insulin, which is commercially available, that is given to the patient in order to produce the amount of insulin required for in the blood for proper metabolism of the blood sugar. So this, let us come to this hyposecretion, that is hypoglycemia. It is the oversecretion of insulin increases the level of the insulin in the body. This ensure that increasing the metabolism of glucose by the body cells, resulting in the lower level of glucose called hypoglycemia. The blood glucose level becomes very low. The brain enters a state of coma. During such condition, the person can enter into the coma state. The person becomes unconscious and even maybe collapse also. So this is the insufficient over and insufficient secretion of insulin in a body. So the next hormone is beta cells, alpha cells, that is the glucagon hormone. It is a hormone secreted by the alpha cells. It is antagonistic to insulin in action. That means it stimulates the breakdown of glycogen into glucose in the liver cell. This helps to rise the blood glucose level whenever it comes down due to fasting or during hunger condition. It This glucagon get activated and produces the more number of glucose, so that it maintains a normal glucose sugar level in our body. Then the third one is delta cells, somatostatin. It is secreted by delta cells. It helps to inhibit the secretion of insulin and glucagon in a body. So this is the pancreas gland details. I hope you all are got. Let us go some of the functions of the insulin which we have forgotten. So insulin is very important because it controls the carbohydrate metabolism in a body and maintains the proper glucose level in a body. It promotes the proper utilization of glucose by the body cells, and it helps to convert the glucose into glycogen in the blood and then stored by the liver organ for muscles for further use. I hope you all have got this pancreas gland. So let us go for the next is the pituitary gland. As you can see the picture of the slide of the pituitary gland. Hence pituitary gland is also a hypophysis because it is a very small structure present above the size, just a small size of the pea seeds, which is attached by the stalk to the base of the midbrain close to the hypothalamus. Hence, pituitary gland is very most important of the endocrine gland because it controls the all the other gland. That hence it's called as the master of the other gland. It called the master gland because it regulates the function of almost all the other endocrine gland of the body. It consists of three parts, that is the anterior lobe, posterior intermediate lobe and the posterior lobe. Have a look to the structure of the pituitary gland. Here is the axon. Here is the cells which have a basal developed and secrete the neurosecretory cells of the hypothalamus. These are the axons which are attached. This is the posterior pituitary gland and this is the anterior pituitary gland and portal venous. Just have a look to the picture. Then we will start with the anterior lobe and the posterior lobe produce the some certain and specific hormones. Anterior lobe, the hormones which are produced by the anterior lobe are almost 6 hormones which are produced. Let us go in detail about their function. So hormones, the first is the growth hormones. As the name itself indicates, it helps in the development of the growth. So it is essential for normal growth of the body. Due to its insufficient secretion, it can lead to the dwarfism. As you might have heard the name as dwarfism, it is nothing but the specially found in childhood, where the dwarf is a fully matured person but retain body size of the child. That means the person grows mentally, but physically the growth is being suppressed. Next is the thyroid stimulating hormone. It is to control the growth and function of the thyroid gland. This thyroid stimulating hormones are produced in the pituitary anterior lobe in the pituitary gland. So it maintains the normal function of the thyroid gland to produce the thyroxine hormones. The next is the adrenocorticotropic hormone. I'll pronounce once again, adrenocorticotropic hormones, ACTH. It is a hormone help to stimulate the adrenal cortex to secrete glucocorticoid and mineral corticoid hormones, as you might have studied in the adrenal gland. Next is the follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone. This hormone is found in males to stimulate the formation of sperm by spermatogenesis, and in female to stimulate follicles of the ovary to produce the eggs and the production of estrogen hormone and progesterone hormones. The next is the luteinizing hormones. Luteinizing hormones. These hormones in males stimulate the secretion of a male hormone testrogens, which influence the appearance of secondary sexual character in males. Next is the prolactin hormone. Prolactin hormones are the lactogenic hormones in males, and hence they produce the testosterone to enhance their production. In female, it enhances the growth and functioning of mammary gland, which is and produce the milk, and hence production of the milk takes place in female. And the next is the mm, next is the posterior lobe. This posterior lobe of pituitary gland produce two hormones, that is oxytocin and vasopressin. Vasopressin is also called as antidiuretic hormone. This oxytocin hormone stimulates the contraction of uterus at the time of childbirth, irresponsible for the growth for the birth of the baby, and also it helps in the expulsion of milk from the breast at the time of sucking during the baby initial baby is sucking. Second is the vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone. This hormone controls the reabsorption of water during the urine filtration by the two kidney tubules. It causes the contraction of small arteries in the blood, thereby increasing the blood pressure in the body. So these both this hormones, which is produced by pituitary gland of anterior and posterior lobe, play a very significant role. Hence it's called as the master gland, because it controls the other gland also. I hope you have got this structure and the hormones. So this is the four glands which we have studied today. Which we have studied today. So these four glands, such as this adrenal gland, thyroid gland, pancreas gland, and pituitary gland, these are the hormones which are very important for our body, though it is produced in a very small quantities and play a significant role in physiological process, hence called as the molecular messengers. They pass the message from one part of the body to the other for a normal functioning of the body. So hence this organs and this hormone secretion system, that is the endocrine system, need to be controlled. That is can be understand by the feedback mechanism. So what is this feedback mechanism, or how do we control the hormone secretion? Let us go in detail now. So this is the control of hormone secretion. Hormones are as we all know, hormones are the chemical messengers. They secrete in a very small quantity, and only when they are needed they are being produced. This, as a matter of fact, endocrine gland activity of the secretion is controlled by the feedback mechanism. This feedback mechanism is the amount of end product or the product of biochemical pathway regulate in the body. In case of hormonal feedback mechanism, the amount of hormone produced during the production releases. So this can be take place in the release of respectively hormone. It affect maybe negative way, or it might be a positive. The negative feedback means the end product convey the message to message. What is that message? The message is secrete no more, no, or slow the secretion of these hormones. That means the signal where there is should be control the secretion of this all the hormones. In positive feedback, the end product asks for the more production. No more secretion, or it can be slow down. In positive is the ask for more production or secretion. So this can be for more secretion. As you can see, there is a pathway which is being drawn in the slide to show the control of hormonal secretion. Hypothalamus, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, in response to some of the external factors releasing hormones, stimulate the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland to produce thyroxine hormone. It can be stimulated from the thyroid gland, where the produces the thyroxine hormone. The level of thyroxine hormone in the blood is very high. During this is the negative feedback effect on the hypothalamus and the anterior lobe of the pituitary. It is being slowed down. Hence there will be a no release of hormones takes place during the thyroid stimulating hormones respectively. During the positive feedback, if the level of thyroxine is less than the normal, a stimulating hypothalamus produces the more thyroxine stimulating hormone. As a result, they produces the more release of thyroxine in from the thyroxine gland, and the anterior lobe in the pituitary in turns produces the more amount of thyroxine production takes place, and hence this can be produced in more toxin to rise the level of the blood. This type of feedback mechanism is called positive feedback mechanism, and these all will control the metabolic activity in the blood. Though it can be controlled whether to produce more, whether it takes place a negative feedback or a positive feedback, to produce more, no more, or slow down the secretion, or for them ask for the more production of the hormones. So this is the feedback mechanism which helps to maintain and control the hormone secretion. By with this we have end up with the topic endocrine system. I hope you all have been understand with the concept which I hope I am able to make you people understand. If you have any queries, please leave your questions in the comment box. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and with Aisha. Have a good day. Thank you.